Ken Trahan with Lenny Vangilder. It's our First NBC Bank weekend preview, brought to you by First NBC Bank. First NBC Bank is a proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. Well, the New Orleans Saints didn't take very long to settle their backup quarterback issue as they released Luke McCown. They had signed Chase Daniel, and Lenny, this was pretty obvious. Once they signed Daniel, he was going to get the job. He's over 5 years younger, all things considered equal. That certainly played into this. For Luke McCown, kudos. He did a nice job with this franchise, did a nice job when called upon against Carolina a year ago, was a consummate team guy. Nothing but praise for him. But this was simply a case of a younger player who can do many of the same things.
Yeah, you may find out more behind the scenes, perhaps. Maybe once this happened, maybe McCown asked for a release to get a shot to catch on somewhere else rather than go through a competition. Maybe this was something that was all predetermined. We don't know. But look, Chase Daniel is obviously more than qualified to be the number 2 guy. And we're still, 3 weeks from the draft now. Who knows what the draft holds in terms of possibilities for the Saints at quarterback and whether they choose to stick their toe in the water into the quarterback pool of the class of 2017. And regardless, you've got to be prepared in the event something happens to Drew Brees.
LSU held Pro Day on Wednesday, and of course LSU's got a bunch of draftable players and some very impressive-looking players. Some NFL teams on hand, including the New Orleans Saints. And might this be the year that the Saints pick an LSU player for the first time since Al Wood?
It's possible, only because there's just so many numbers out there. You would expect 7, 8, maybe 9 LSU players to be drafted. On sheer numbers alone, it certainly increases the chances that the Saints go that route at some point. The interesting numbers yesterday from Pro Day, Jamal Adams with a sensational 40 time. His stock was already high. It's hard to get much higher, but I think that solidifies him as a top 10 pick. The other number came off the scale. Leonard Fournette was 240 at the combine. He was 228 on Pro Day, and while he didn't do much in terms of participating, I think that probably says some things as well in terms of what people might have thought about him. Maybe they thought he was too heavy at 240. That's a very reasonable weight, 228, to expect him to play at in the NFL.
Ton of guys. Malachi Dupre was impressive. You could go on and on about LSU's guys. Duke Riley ran the same as he ran at the Combine, very fast. Keep an eye on Cyril Grayson. Didn't play football at LSU, but he's a really good athlete who can run a track star at LSU, is a very good football player at Archbishop Rummel. This could be a guy you take a flyer on as a free agent with tremendous speed.
If Al Davis were still alive, he'd have the Raiders written all over him. They love those kind of guys. Take those track stars, speed kills. Hey, let's see. You're right. You can't teach speed. You can't tell you. I guess you can teach speed, but when you get to that point, you really can't. You can't teach height, as they say. It's an intriguing proposition.
A Raider to become a Raider, maybe? Los Angeles, Oakland, Las Vegas, whatever the case may be. Tulane holds Pro Day on Friday. We'll have coverage at SportsNOLA.com. Tanzel Smart looks like the only draftable player on the board. Chris Taylor might get a shot somewhere, but this will be an opportunity at the Saints indoor facility for Tulane players to show what they have.
Yeah, and they've got some intriguing prospects out there. You're right. In all likelihood, Smart is the only one that gets drafted. Somebody is going to take a free agent flyer at Nico Marley, and I think they're going to find it's going to be hard to let him go with just the skill set that he brings to the table. The one thing he doesn't have is the measurables, but all he does is tackle people. So let's see what happens, whether he ends up in the right place and what he does at Pro Day.
Indeed. Basketball, Pelicans playing out the string now. And Alvin Gentry said he wants to take a look at some of the other guys. So maybe a few less minutes for Boogie Cousins and Anthony Davis. And yet they've got to develop chemistry moving forward. So I would suspect they're still going to play some pretty significant minutes.
We shall see. It ends up on the road here. So it's going to be interesting to see, Pelicans played their last home game on Tuesday. When they finally play another home game come October, what is this team going to look like? That is the question. You're going to certainly see some changes in the offseason. How extensive will the changes be? Will they start at the top and trickle down, or will we just see a couple of the parts on the floor changing hands? We shall see.
A couple of other notes from Sports NOLA this week, too. Of course, Media Day for the team calling themselves Baby Cakes now. Just call them Cakes. New Orleans professional baseball team, whatever the case may be. Interesting mix, as usual, of some veteran players and some prospects. I think 12 roster guys, 40-man roster guys on this team. You've got some veteran players. Could this be the year they finally win? Well, you sure hope so anyway.
Well, I didn't see a lot of youth on there. You don't see that 22, 23-year-old hot prospect one step away, even if he's here for a month or so. You don't see that. And that, so you do see a blend of older guys. And look, you broadcast AAA baseball for a number of years. That's what happens. You end up with a blend of prospects and some older guys hanging on for that one last chance to possibly make it back to the majors. But I just don't see enough of that younger end of things in terms of what's coming up. And I don't know what that says about the Marlins system, that they just don't have the young prospects ready to be in AAA, or if it's just the way this particular snapshot of 2017 suggests itself.
Yeah, and again, for the fans, just so that you clearly understand, the team makeup has nothing to do with New Orleans. It's all about the Marlins organization and the players they provide here. Of course, the Cakes open their season tonight, Thursday night, against the Memphis Redbirds. 5-game series to open the year at home. Should have good weather, and get out and see them if you have the chance. And, of course, Rick Gailey with a nice story on the new golf course in City Park, which is very significant, Lenny, moving forward.
It is, and look, City Park has played a huge part in the sport of golf in New Orleans. This new course has been a long time coming. How long have we heard it talked about to try to develop that? But I'm still going to be interested to see just how it's perceived as a public course. City Park was for a long time the home of hackers, so to speak. You could go out there and pay your $4 green fee and go out and play. Now you're taking a major step up in that, and how is that going to get perceived in the New Orleans market? And obviously you'll have people coming in for conventions and travel and such that will go out and play the course. But at the end of the day, you've got to get that day-to-day local business, and that perception is going to be very important. But kudos to the Bayou District Foundation on what they've put together.
PGA future?
Perhaps.
Yeah, stay tuned. And Roman Williams, congratulations. What a great player, great high school story he was at Country Day. On his way to Emory University, a great school, and what a tremendous career. 3 state championships while he was at Country Day.
Terrific career. And now on to Emory, where he's got a chance to get both an outstanding education and play at the Division II level. And best of luck to him. Expect great things.
Indeed. And finally, high school baseball, as we've had a very busy week, and we'll continue to have one at SportsNOLA.com and WHNO TV 20. So we hope you will stay tuned, because we got games every day, every night. Same thing with radio on WGSO 990 AM. So many games to mention. Have at it.
Have at it. Trahan Hanville, Thursday afternoon, 4 o'clock at SportsNOLA.com. Watch the re-air Saturday on WHNO. Archbishop Rummel, Archbishop Shaw on Friday from Kirsch Rooney. 4 o'clock Friday here on SportsNOLA.com. Monday on WHNO. So that pretty much gets you through the rest of the week. And I know you've got a couple of radio broadcasts as well. And look, Friday's going to be one of those days at Kirsch Rooney where you tip your hat to history. It's going to be 20 years since we lost the great Rag Sherman, and that is the home of baseball that he built. We'll certainly touch on it during Friday's broadcast.
No doubt. Awesome, man. We'll have radio Friday night of Brother Martin Holy Cross at Kirsch Rooney at 7, and then Saturday at 1 it's Rummel and St. Augustine at Kirsch Rooney on WGSO 990 AM. So I think that about does it. That's our First NBC Bank weekend preview, brought to you by First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNOLA.com. For Lenny, I'm Kenny. Have a great weekend, and God bless you.